Thanks for joining us, everybody. It's been a little bit. Welcome to the Torque and Horsepower Podcast. I'm your co-host, Eric Herbert.
And I'm your co-host, Alex Ursa. Today we have the one and only John Simmons in with us today. John, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good. So we'll get into it. We'll figure out where you're from, what you do, where you're raised, all that stuff. We got two machinists here, so I'm out of the loop right now. It's a lot of numbers. I just lift heavy shit.
I was worried we were just going to be talking about tractors and heavy equipment, which, I can barely run equipment.
I don't know. The backyard's looking pretty good.
There's way more knobs in one of those things than a car.
Right? That's for sure. Did you do the retaining wall on the grass or not?
No, that was hired.
Oh, it looks really good.
I did the grass. I did the grass and the sprinklers. But no, the rich Mexican down the street.
Yeah.
That owns the paper.
Oh,
deal.
the dude with all the shit down there?
Yeah, the horse and the waterfall and the. I'm like, dude, we know you're rich. Now everyone knows you're rich.
You got a fucking horse statue.
You should see his backyard.
Oh, really?
Oh my God, it's like going to the Taj Mahal. He's got like a 24-person swim spa sunk into the deck.
Oh, fuck.
And then everything's pavered, and then he's got this Adobe-looking half circle, like a bar.
Yeah.
But he's got a pizza oven, a built-in barbecue, a fridge.
Damn.
Outdoor gas fire pit by the hot tub. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's party.
Good.
It's the party spot when he's having a party.
Hopefully tomorrow I'll be looking down at your place from Mount Rose.
What are you doing up there?
Well, I won't be running it tomorrow, but I'm going to hopefully drop off the dozer and the excavator for Davis Fire for some reclamation.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I tried to get it on the fire, but, of course, Wednesday night it had to cool off, and the wind blew the fire back on itself, so...
it was all over.
Yeah, it was all over. Yeah, it was, like, fucking raging, and I was waiting. I sent so much paperwork to the feds and to Truckee Meadows, and then Truckee Meadows sends it to the Fed. It's a fucking nightmare to try and get on one of those things.
To volunteer to run it?
Oh, no, it's not volunteer. We're getting paid, bud.
Okay.
Yeah, but it literally, I sent the same paperwork to like 37 different people. They call these people. No wonder the fires burn for fucking ever, because it's impossible to get out there to do anything. It was wild.
It makes sense. You would think there'd be like an emergency. You put your name in if you need a dozer.
Yeah, that's what I did, and it was
show up.
I was on the phone, legitimately on the phone for probably 8 hours that day, on and off the phone. Yeah.
What a pain in the ass.
Which once I'm on the list, then it's a lot easier. Then I just have to wait for a contract to come through. I sign the contract and they can call me to go out there. But it was a fucking nightmare.
So you're on the list now?
Yeah, I'm on the list now. So I can do any Nevada wildland firefighter. I'm not set up with like CAL FIRE or anything, but I can do.
But now they can call you and you can just roll in with equipment and send a bill.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it'll be good. So we're doing some rehab. We're going to, hopefully tomorrow, I'm supposed to get a call in the morning, and they want the dozer and the excavator up there, and we'll start on rehab.
What are they going to do with all that wood? Are they going to who's going to cut the trees down?
Well, they'll bring a feller buncher up and shit, and it depends. Nevada's a lot better at it than California on getting the logs to a mill so that they don't go to waste.
They have that one setup that was at in Carson, right?
Yeah, Sierra.
Oh yeah, they had a landing down there.
Keep 'em over there.
Yeah, it's Sierra. What is it? Sierra Wood Products or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
They were processed
Over by Costco over there.
That's the one Lane tried to go.
Yeah,
work
that's
at,
one Lane tried to go to work at. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, John, let's get into it. Where are you from?
Well, born in Kingman, Arizona.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I was born in Kingman, and we now live in Lake Havasu, and I learned being a Havasu, you don't tell people you're from Kingman,
right?
Because it turns out that's where all the crackheads live now. So people look at me funny.
It's like telling people in Reno you're from some valley.
Yeah. My dad was working at the Mineral Park mine.
Oh, okay.
There in Kingman, 1965. But 3-4 months after I was born, he got an offer to go run the lab at Battle Mountain.
Okay.
Duval at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how we got to Battle Mountain in 1965. So I was only 4 months old, but lived there till I was 15. Then moved to Winnemucca, started my sophomore year in Winnemucca, 1980. And then was there until 2019 when we moved to Lake Havasu.
You like living in Lake Havasu better? Or you like
it's a little hot right now.
Yeah,
a little hot right now. Yeah. But yeah, it's nice.
Good.
It's nice. We like it.
So, what got you into the industry you're in?
Well, growing up in Winnemucca, my dad was a miner.
Right.
Well, I went I went to a year in Carson City.
Oh, okay.
At the community college, and took the welding classes there. And then after that year, I went back to Winnemucca for that summer, and I went to work at Pinson.
Oh, okay.
And was driving haul trucks there. Well, I started out running a compactor on a leach pad, but driving haul trucks, and I'm like, I didn't want to go back to school. I was making money, so
Yeah.
I stayed there. And then, I wasn't too long into it, and like, man, this is shitty. I don't want to do this. They're driving a haul truck. You go and you get loaded
Right.
at the loader, and then you drive an eighth of a mile, and you dump it, and you come back again. You do that all night long, and it was
It's awful.
awful.
I did it at Core for a little bit, and it's the fucking
Yeah,
worst
yeah.
thing ever.
Yeah, it was. Well, it was. Back then, at that time, you worked night shift or day shift.
Right.
And I was 19 years old and night shift guy, and it fit my schedule.
Right.
Because I kept the same schedule on my days off too.
Like-
But after I did that for a year and a half, but halfway into it, I told my dad, I was like, I don't want to do this. I want to go to a good welding school, and I wanted to go to Hobart School in Ohio.
Oh, okay.
And my dad, after the year, he sponsored me in the community college. And one good story was I called my dad. I says, God, I'm broke. I can't afford to go get anything to eat. I'm starving. Send me some more money. And he shows up in Carson, and over in the corner of the kitchen, there's because you get refund for the long necks back
Okay.
then. So there's 7 cases of long necks stacked up in the corner. My dad says, well, looks like you got a priority problem to me, But, so he told me that, he says, you want to go to school? He says, I'm not going to pay for you to go there and drink. So you pay for the school, and I'll help you,
Right.
with your place to live and rent and everything. So
Yeah.
that's how I ended up at Hobart. And when I got out of Hobart in 1986, I thought I had the world by the ass.
Right.
Because I did really good in school, passed all my weld tests, everything, flying colors. And then when I got out, I couldn't find a welding job. I went to work.
Oh, really?
I went to work for the same small little welding outfit that I'd worked for part-time when I was a truck driver. And so it was 1986. I was making $5 an hour.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
But, so one of the things I did, I went out to Valmy Power Plant and run a conveyor out, and then run a 7-inch pipeline from the end of this conveyor, 45 up the top of the tank, 300 feet, and then over and back in. I'm like,
Oh, shit.
God, I should be making more than $5 an hour, But and then he got slow, and I got laid off from that. And back up. Prior to that, I went to San Diego. I had a girlfriend that was going to school at San Diego State,
okay.
and she talked me into going down there. And I thought, I can get a job in the shipyards.
Right.
And I'd walk into those offices, and they just, with my application, they'd laugh at me. They said, we laid off 300 people yesterday. I'm like,
Fuck.
well, here,
Yeah.
just in case, But so I ended up coming back, and then I had worked temp service for a while, and I was I went to this welding school, and did really good, and then I'm working for a temp agency as at Florida Canyon
Oh, okay.
in a pair of rubber pants with rubber boots duct taped around, standing waist deep in cyanide solution, shoveling out this ditch it over.
What the
like,
fuck?
like, yeah, exactly. So, and then finally I got a job for TIC when they were building Chimney Creek,
Oh, okay.
and driving a truck.
Yeah.
So I couldn't get away from this truck driving deal. So I was driving a Mack 10 wheeler, but it was a brutal, cold, dirty winter. So, and a lot of the guys that I went to high school were out there too. So I was kind of happy to be in the truck, and they were out there shoveling ditches out, and I'd roll down the window and like, that's hot in here.
It's
drive
hotter
off.
fucking-
Drive off. But at that time I just wanted to weld. That's all I wanted to do.
Right.
I wanted to weld. So we're building the mine, and the mine had an office there, and this guy's name was Truman Harrington, and he was the maintenance superintendent. Awesome guy, great guy. But I'd go by once a week. I'd drive that Mack truck up to his office and go in and bug him, you know. He's hiring yet. And then, 20 some years later, he stopped by my shop.
Oh, really?
And he told me, he says, the only reason I hired you is because you wouldn't leave me alone. So, persistence paid off.
Yeah.
But during that time, that was Chimney Creek then. It was prior to Twin Creeks.
Right.
And I look back at it now, and the things he had me doing when I was in my early 20s, running cranes. They had an old auto car truck, and I would haul the drills and the D9 dozer all over and I look back and I was like, God, I was only 23 years old. I wouldn't let a 23-year-old do that stuff, but it was a good opportunity there. And at one point there, I was kind of burnt out on welding. It took about a year and a half, and I'm like, this is not that much fun,
right?
And then, but I was working the shift work, and there was a straight day job to doing tires.
Oh, okay.
So for a couple years or better, I did all the tires, but I had my own deal, right?
Right.
So I ordered the tires, I took care of the warranty work on the tire, and I had my own little area over there. So it worked out pretty good. And then, but I also, every time there's a bad crack on the shovel,
right,
I would go to the shovel, and every time there's crane work, I'd run the crane. Tipped it over once, so that's a different story.
You tipped a crane over?
Yeah. But then when the Twin Creeks thing happened, I went from having a really good job, straight day shift, doing my own thing, and then when the Twin Creeks thing happened, that first week there, I am driving a boom truck with a grease jumbo on it, a night shift, going around feeling the grease.
Right.
Cans. I'm like, God, what happened?
Yeah. My cush job's gone.
Yeah, and I thought, man, welding's not that bad. So I went and I put in for the weld shop, went to the weld test, and then went to welding. And that's where I got the opportunity for the machining.
Oh, okay.
Stuff. So, I didn't really have a mentor.
Right.
I mean, they had the equipment. Nobody knew how to run it, really,
right,
including me.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of here, figure it out. And at that point, I went from, hating work to when I started doing that machining stuff. I liked it so much I couldn't.
Right.
I'd be on a project, didn't want to leave and go get on a bus, and
right,
you couldn't wait to get back next morning. It was that way for a while.
That's good though.
Yeah. But that's kind of the story there. How
did for the machining side of stuff, you just self-taught yourself then?
Mostly, yeah. They're mostly self-taught, but there was Climax Tools. The Climax Portal Machining Tools is where all the machine tools came from, and they sent a guy out to do a class one day. His name is Ernie Amundsen. Okay. And he was their trainer, their sales guy, but he was great. I had his phone number, so I don't know how many phone calls I made to Ernie. So Ernie was great. Ernie taught me a lot over the phone. Okay. He was Ernie unfortunately passed a while back. He kind of had a tough way to go with some cancer and sick. So right. Their years weren't that good, but yeah, he did a lot for me.
Yeah. It's crazy though, because to this day, like Lane does machining for me, and Lane calls you all the time, and you walk him through shit machining stuff on the phone. It's cool how that turned around.
Yeah, and I mean, it's great to have somebody. Right. I learned a lot of stuff the hard way. Right. So it's like, well, that didn't work. But yeah.
Yeah, it's weird though, because a lot of it doesn't make sense to me. Like Lane will be like, "No, I talked to my dad. We'll set it up this way." I'm like, "You do what you want to do. I don't have no fucking idea what's going on, man. You figure it out and talk to your dad about it."
Well, and that's the thing. And through my years, I learned a lot of little tricks. Right. Tricks of the trade. Right. So it's unfortunate now is I'm not really out there anymore, and it's just. I kind of feel like this should get passed on. Right. There's lots of
I think you need to do a little John Simmons line boring school down there in Havasu.
Yeah, we thought about that. Just because my wife Marta, she's a feeder,
Right.
So like God, we get get some students here, and you can feed them. We'd be happy.
Anytime she's around, I gain 10 pounds.
Yeah.
So after you learned machining there, where'd you go?
At Twin Creeks, the problem at Twin Creeks was I got bored.
Right.
Like we had a shovel down one time, and I'd do everything on there's a lot of machining. I had one drive.
Oh, just one drive?
I could cut one hole at a time.
Yeah.
And they were kind of on me. Got to get this done. And they had guys helping on night shift, and the night shift guy would come in, read the number wrong, and bore the hole. 60,000's too big.
Right.
So he'd come in the next morning, and I'm like behind where I was.
Right.
But I went to the superintendent one time, and I told him, I says, if we get a little more equipment, we make these jobs go a little faster. And he's like, my job is to not get more equipment to do this repairs. It's to make sure everybody greases it and does all the stuff so we won't have to do these repairs.
Well, that's not happening, obviously.
Yeah, but it was, it got to the point where I'm looking at my career there. I'm like, I'm going as far as I can go here.
Right.
I kind of felt like I was getting held back a little bit. And then a job opportunity came up with Cashman equipment.
Oh, okay.
And so I jumped ship and went and did that. And Cashman was a great company, treated me good. And I kind of built the machining program for them there in Winnemucca. But they treated me good, but I always thought I could do better.
Right.
So I left and did my own thing.
And your own thing didn't turn out small.
No, it was. I did really good at it, but trying to have a bunch of employees and it's not all easy.
Right. No, it's definitely not all easy.
But there's one point there was, two of us.
Right.
Getting a lot of work done.
Yeah.
Right.
But your machining capabilities for that area went from it was dealership only to it was you doing everything for the most part, like big machining jobs. Because I've never seen a machining trailer like the one you had. Like you showed up in a Peterbilt with a NASCAR trailer, completely stock full of machining tools, and a skid steer in there, and a fucking pickup, and
and it worked good.
Yeah.
But there again, it was just two of us, so. Like we had a job in Ely, and I think I was helping another guy in Wyoming.
Right.
I was subbing him, and then this job in Ely came up, and I stopped in Ely, dropped off my fifth wheel.
Yeah.
Travel trailer there. That's what we stayed in. Went back to Winnemucca. Got the Kenworth with the tool trailer.
Yeah.
In it, with my BMW motorcycle in the back of it, drove to Ely. Unloaded the motorcycle, drove back to Winnemucca, put it in a Peterbilt.
Yeah.
And it just back and forth. It was
right.
It was tough by yourself. But
yeah. Because how many employees did you get up to?
I think the most I had was 13.
13.
Yeah.
And then didn't you have one truck get hit by lightning?
Yeah. Yeah. The guy lived Kelly. He lived at Spring Creek, and they're out on the porch watching the storm, and he turned around and looked at his wife. He said her hair was just all statted out.
Right.
He says, maybe we better go in the house. He said about that time, bam, it hit the service truck.
And it never worked right ever
Blew
since.
the tires, put the computer up, and then, I filed an insurance claim on it, and that was one of the worst things I've ever been through.
Oh, I bet.
This insurance adjuster guy was from Vegas, and it took like 9-10 months.
Oh, fuck.
To get anything out of him. It was awful. But we won't get into insurance. That's a sore subject.
Sore subject, yeah. Did you ended up selling that thing, didn't you? The one that got hit by lightning?
We got all working good again, and it was fine.
Yeah.
I had to replace a lot of parts.
What was it, an old top kick or something?
Yeah, it was a 2000 top kick, which I kind of had some sentimental to that truck because that was the first truck I bought.
Right.
Wife working at the GM dealer had pulled some strings with GMAC, and we were able to finance a top kick. And, and that was back at that time in 2000. A new truck with an air pack on it. I think the whole build with air pack included was $105,000.
That's fucking wild. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't touch it for that.
No,
right?
If it was on a Peterbilt chassis, that fucker'd still be worth $105,000 even now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the top kick it was a good truck.
Everybody ran top kicks back in the day. All the Cashman trucks were top kicks. Everybody had top kicks.
Yep.
I think my dad's first Pete was at Cashman was 500, and it was one of the first Peterbilts that they had.
Yeah, 250 horsepower. Didn't
33.
I had that big heavy trailer. All my tools. That was like 45,000 pounds
with 240 horsepower.
Yeah, it's 25 miles an hour up to summits.
Yeah,
90 miles an hour down the other side. Yeah.
So does that mean you're a GM guy as well then?
Yeah, when my wife was, I drove a 75 GMC in high school. I was always a GM guy, and I drive a Ford now.
Yeah, he crossed over. He got himself a nice Bushi F450.
How did that happen?
It just came about. When I bought this 450, I had a Ram Mega Cab single wheel. I put 165,000 miles on it. That was a great truck. I lost the transmission because a little two-door clip come off. And
the oil came out, right?
You lost all tranny fluid. I don't care what kind of tranny it is. It's not going to last long. But that was like the only problem I had with that thing, 165,000 miles. But I had that truck, and we'd bought a used Duramax dually, which that thing was, I don't know what its previous life was, but it was just one thing after another. So we traded them both off.
Well, even your BlackRock trucks, you had GMCs, didn't you, or Chevys?
Yeah.
If you switch to Ford, is your testosterone low?
I don't know. They're pretty fucking cush.
I haven't had to get any shots.
You might need the
Yeah, I
shots.
haven't got any shots yet.
Drew needs the shots.
Well, and you have what's your old Chevy? The blue one.
A 1970.
70? Yeah.
GMC, yeah.
That's the one that has all the work done to it?
Yeah. Wasn't it in like Four Wheel Magazine or something like that?
Yeah.
It's got a badass flatbed on it.
Yeah.
Who did the build on that?
A good friend, Don Brown. He would. I met him at that Top Truck Challenge. My wife's cousin had his.
Robert?
Bojo, yeah. He was there, so we went up. I took my Kenworth up there to support him when he was in this Top Truck Challenge, and the judges says, well, that's kind of unfair advantage, and they says you can have the truck here and help, but you got to help everybody. I'm like, I'll help everybody, no problem.
Yeah.
And I had like to midnight every night. There was these guys from Texas that had an old Chevy pickup.
Mm-hmm.
Their tractor pulls had like 60-inch tractor tires.
Oh, fuck.
And they had a winch in there that this guy had since he was a kid, and all the mounts are broke off of it. So they just had like these little bolts and quarter-inch tabs holding it in there. Well, they were winching in it, and it broke loose and went and hit the bumper and exploded.
Oh, fuck, yeah.
So this guy brings like this jigsaw puzzle of this PTO. It's all aluminum case.
Right.
And gears and throws in bumpers. Said, can you fix this? And I said, only chance you got is get your wife to run to the hardware store so she can find some aluminum stick rod. That's our only chance. So I put all the gears back together and welded the nuts on because they were all stripped out, and then was piecing the case back together. But they winched with it the next day.
Oh, good. Hell yeah.
But yeah, that's where I met Don Brown, and then he was just getting started. He hadn't done it yet, but he was going to start a home business
Oh, okay.
building 4-wheel drive trucks. So that was kind of one of his first builds.
It turned out good.
Yeah, well, that flatbed, I actually kind of drew him pictures of what I wanted and
Right.
sent it to him, and he hit it pretty close.
Yeah. Well, it's cool. Even like with you and Lane having your bikes on the back of that thing, like cruising around, it's pretty fucking cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, we got to do more of that.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, because you, you still have a dirt bike, don't you? Or did you sell it?
Which one?
Oh, okay. There you go. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my wife. Mara says, "Why do you need 8 motorcycles?" I'm like, it's just, they're all different.
That's what I tell my
They're all
wife.
different.
They're all for a different purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went and I picked up a pit bike for her. I got a TTR 110. It's her bike. I convinced my kids that it's her bike, so anytime she gives me shit, my kids are like, "Mom, that is your bike." But it's really just for me to follow the kids around with. It's a fun. And we built a pit bike track at the shop, so we have pit races and shit. It's fun. The worst part is your son, because when Lane gets
He's often the worst part.
yeah. When he gets competitive, that motherfucker put me into the fence.
Oh, yeah.
He's got a fucking leg out kicking me and shit. Yeah. It's a good time.
Oh yeah, yeah. We just I finally bought a TW200. I wanted one forever. That's
One of the big wheel ones?
yeah.
Yeah.
The back tire's like this wide.
Yeah.
That thing's so much fun. And when we went to when he had his kids up this summer, we went out to Williams.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We were camped out there, and you probably saw the video.
I did.
You know,
Yeah.
My 4-year-old grandson, he got the throttle, he got the handlebars, and Lane's sitting back there drinking a beer, and he's driving. That kid,
That's
loved
awesome.
Loved
Yeah.
that motorcycle. Yeah.
Well, it's funny because he took Oakley and Tuff to the shop, and we were riding dirt bikes. And I don't know what Tuff was thinking, but he thought he was going to go under the pickup, under Lane's Chevy. And he just fucking, boom, gets blown off this thing. And he cried a little bit, but he hopped right back on it, went to ride. And I was like, yeah, you're your dad's. Yeah. He's like, I thought I had it. I was like,
Yeah,
how?
he might live up to his name after all.
Yeah.
So being in Havasu, do you have boats and stuff then, or what?
Boats?
Yeah.
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 Well, we have a pontoon boat.
Okay.
But it's not a normal pontoon boat.
That's normal.
No, it's not a normal pontoon boat.
Well, I mean, there's a pontoon boat there now that I guess has twin 500s on it.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, that's
when you think of pontoon boat, you think party barge, 12 horse Johnson off the back.
Yeah, it's a nice pontoon boat.
Yeah.
It just has one motor on the back.
Yeah.
But it's just cruiser. Marla's got like a top speed of 25. She didn't like to go fast.
She doesn't like go. It does go fast though.
Yeah. We did 50 downriver.
Yeah.
They won't do 50 going upriver.
But when you guys were in Tahoe, you had a nice Formula up there. That was a really fun boat.
Yeah, that was a nice boat.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was Marla's boat.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think that I still remember when we went up to your house in Tahoe. I think it was for the Hillbilly Hoedown. And you're standing on the dock, and Lane, Scooter, Braun, and I are wearing cowboy boots, just swim trunks, and cowboy hats walking down. And you looked at us, you're like, I've never been more proud of a couple boys in my entire life.
Yeah, so Lane says, we embarrass you. I said, no, you guys make me proud.
Yeah.
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 But and then that same trip, the volleyball game.
Oh, the volleyball.
So, you probably haven't heard this story. So it's you and
Scooter,
Braun
Braun,
and Scooter
and
and
Lane.
So our friends have this big. I mean, it's nice. It's a full volleyball court. There's grass and everything. So they all have these volleyball games. And there was one guy there had all these friends. They're football players from UNR. So all these big buff stud dudes. So they're out there playing volleyball, and these guys show up, and they go on the other side of these volleyball players, and they start stripping. And they got like these pink panties they got at the adult bookstore or something. I don't know where they got them. So they're all wearing these, and these football players all puffing up, and they sucked. They were terrible. But everybody is just laughing, having a good time. And these football players are getting,
A little pissed.
you know, these guys. We're the studs. These guys are getting all the attention. They're kind of
We all had beer
they're kind of
bellies.
puffing up about it.
It was a good time.
So they schooled these guys. They beat them bad.
Yeah, we got fucking destroyed.
Yeah. and then these girls come out that probably all played volleyball in high school. They come out and just spank those guys.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Bad. So I went in the house, and they're all sitting on the couch watching TV. I think they're all pouting. They were defeated.
It was a good time.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
funny.
Awesome.
Hey, that's a good trick. I always forget that. You didn't buy a new car. You bought it for Tara. It's Tara's car.
Yeah, Tara's car.
It's not. You didn't get a new
Yeah.
gun. It's for it's Tara's new gun.
Yeah.
I always forget that trick. It
Yeah.
works.
It does work,
It
yeah.
works. It buys a lot of credit.
Especially because now, like, Haley will drive around or ride around with us, and I'll take, because I bought Lane's 450. He has a fucking built WR, so it was perfect for, you know, doing desert and shit like that. So I bought that off Lane, and then I take that. It's got the Recluse auto clutch on it, so when my kids are, when they fall over or whatever, I can just cruise around, put the kickstand down. I am gonna get another moto bike, but it works out good because then Haley can ride her pit bike. It's her pit bike, so she can ride it around with us, and we go on, like, especially like right now when it's starting to get a little cooler at night, we'll take the boys on a ride around the house and shit out in the desert, and it works out good. So it's her bike.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
And you get her out there.
Yeah, and she likes riding. Besides, I'd never been more mad at her, almost mad at her in my entire life. I don't know what the fuck she was doing, because she can ride bikes. She has her bike parked right next to my 450, and she fucking just nuts it for some reason. I don't know why, and it's in neutral. And so I was like, hey, what are you doing? And she just fucking clicks up to second.
Oh, no.
And she falls off the back, and it misses the front of my 450 by like this much. I was like, we almost got divorced right there. Like, that was the pivotal moment in our relationship.
Oh,
like,
no.
yeah. And she can ride, so I don't know what she's doing. Like, she can ride my 450. I don't know what she's doing. She just decided that today's the day that we're gonna fucking test
We're
it.
gonna wheel stand this 110.
Yeah, ride with your kids as much as you can.
It's so much fun.
That's, you know, Lane and I, we did some rides when he was a kid, and
Right.
the best time ever. But I was so busy working all the time
Right.
that
Well,
we
you
didn't-
guys took
we
them
didn't do it
racing
enough.
all the time and stuff, but it's really cool just to ride with them. Like, I take my kids racing, but it's not the same as just going out and riding with them.
Right.
It's a blast.
You know, I can remember we went to Hickey Summit once. He was
Hang on.
about 10 years old, and we rode up over to Ripley's camp. It's
Right,
called.
right.
So we were a long ways from the truck,
Right.
and we didn't know if we had enough fuel to make it back,
Right.
quite or not, because Lane getting himself into bad situations.
Lane?
He got that from me.
Yeah, I could
So-
tell.
So I don't know if we had enough gas to make it back. So I told Lane, and he's 10,
Right.
but I mean, at 10 years old, I mean, he could ride.
Oh, Lane was fast.
Yeah, yeah. We're going up Ripley's camp. We're going through and it was in the early spring.
Right.
So we're going up through the Quakies,
Yeah.
and it's just thick of wet leaves. Mm-hmm. And I'm following him, and he bruised me with these wet leaves, and I just like instantly went dark. You know, I just like, covered my whole goggles, helmet, everything with these wet leaves. But when we were coming down, I said, "Lane, I don't know if we got enough fuel to make it." I says, I used to do this in high school all the time. Just put your bike in neutral and coast out of here.
Yeah.
So I was on a 250 at the time. He's on his 85, and I'm following him.
Yeah.
You know, trying to keep up with him, my 10-year-old kid. And we come up to this corner, and Lane throws a leg out around the corner. He's neutral, bike's not running.
Right.
And I'm flopping out to this sagebrush. When I finally stand up, I look, and he's
Didn't even notice.
Long gone.
Well, in snowmobiling, that's one of the people I used to, like, you guys used to snowmobile a bunch together. So that was cool. I mean, you guys have always been into engines and shit.
Well, yeah, that's a whole Lane on a snowmobile when he was insane.
Yeah, he was. That poor fucking 900 you got him.
Oh, he killed that thing.
Yeah,
bad.
he did.
Well, when I had that 900, I didn't get my first snowmobile till I was 40,
Right.
and that's what I learned on. And that thing was a
What, like an old Edge chassis or something?
Oh,
Or did you have the Dragon first?
it was an RMK.
Oh, it was the RMK? Okay.
Yeah, but so Marla got it for me for Christmas.
Okay.
So I went down and got the 550.
Right. Oh, yeah, she had that 550 fan-cooled one.
Yeah, and Lane can ride this. You know,
Right.
good starter bike for him. And first day out, I mean, he couldn't climb what we were, and he's like, I don't like this.
Of course, Lane. Yeah.
Yeah.
I need something faster.
So
Yeah.
another guy had a built sled. It was the what'd you call it, little chassis?
Like a Dragon chassis?
No, way before that.
Oh,
Edge.
Edge chassis? Yeah.
Yeah, and it was a 700, had a a built 800 motor, and it had
Yeah.
the clear plastic.
Oh, yeah,
hood
yeah.
on it. It was light, and Lane got on it. He was just unstoppable.
Yeah.
We were riding up at Red Lakes, and I look, and people have been there before, and there was a high mark, and I took
Yeah.
off, and I got like one ski above it a little bit.
Yeah.
And Lane, he looks at it. I don't know, he's maybe 12 at the time.
Right.
I don't know what he was, 13. He said, well, I can do better than that. And he takes off. And he was probably going 50 miles an hour when he went by the high mark.
Yeah. Especially being that light. He's a little guy, so yeah.
Yeah, he was just unstoppable.
Yeah.
And the cornices, he would just launch off of it.
That's what
Scared the shit out of me.
I always, especially like riding with him, I can always go up stuff. It doesn't scare me. I'll side hill everything, but Lane dropping off cornices is the scariest. And he doesn't care. He doesn't even look at it. He just goes right off of it every time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's wild. He does not care, and that's why his leg's all fucked up right now.
Did he tell you about the day he blew that that 800 up? So we were riding at Red Lakes, and so when we're riding out there early that day, Lane says, "Dad, I got to poop." I'm like, "Go ahead."
Yeah.
He says, "You have any toilet paper?" I'm like, "No."
No.
He said, "What am I going to use?" I says, "Snowball."
It's snowball.
So what do you mean? I says, "Just make snowball. Use that."
Yeah.
And then, so he's like, "I ain't doing that." So later on, we're riding, and Lane and I take off climbing. He always smoked right by me.
Right.
So we're climbing. He's out, and then I go by him, which was I knew something was wrong.
Right.
And then I turn back around, and he's planted.
Right.
Up there on it, and so we finally get him down, and he's got a rod through the side of the case. It's toast. So this was early on, and I talk about bad situations. I didn't have a rope or nothing.
Right.
So I told Lane, I says, I'm gonna have to ride back to truck and get something because I had an extension cord in the back truck. So it was a long ride. I rode all the way back and got the extension cord, and I come back, and Lane had to wait the whole time. I go back, and Lane says, "Dad, that hurts." And I'm like, "What?" He says, "Wiping your butt with a snowball." I said, "You really did it?" And he says, "Yeah, it worked."
It worked. I bet that fucking hurt.
It hurts.
Yeah.
And then another time, he's such a shithead kid.
Yeah.
Another time, I had my dragon.
Yeah.
And it melted the piston like
Right.
they all did at first.
Yeah.
So we were in a big, deep bowl.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, how are we get this thing? Never going to get this thing out of here. And there was a bunch of us riding, like 10, 12 of us. So I tell Lane, I says, see if you can make it out here on this thing.
Right.
So, because he weighs half of what I do. So
Yeah.
we're watching him, he rides out, he's pretty on top. We're, good, he made it, so I'm walking over to the 900.
Right.
So as he's riding, and one of the guys says, shit, he's coming back. I'm like, what? He rides back down there. I'm like, Lane, what are you doing? I said, what do you mean? He says, you asked me to see if I can make it out. I made it.
I'm back now.
I said, well, see if you can make it again. Don't come back this time.
Yeah.
So he rides it out, and so about halfway back to the truck, it's done.
It's done, yeah.
It won't run anymore. So this time I had a rope.
Right.
So I'm riding a 900, and I hook on him because he's lighter.
Yeah.
And riding for a long time, and we go through this dip, and just coming out of it, and I stand up going and just go to get some throttle. Lane brake checks me.
Oh fuck.
Sends me over the bars. He was pretty proud of himself.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. That motherfucker, when he blew that 900 up, when we were on Hinky, we were back by the Christmas trees, and we had a Canadian all the way out pulling that sled.
Yeah.
And he did the same fucking thing to me. We're just cruising along, and I was throttle side, he was brake side, and he just grabs all brake, just fucking boink, throws me. Yeah. He thought it was the funniest shit in the world.
Don't trust him.
No.
Oh man.
So on the machining side of stuff, what have been some really cool jobs that you got to do?
There's, it's not so much cool jobs. Like back about 2015, all the guys most all the guys that had to work for me
Right.
over the years that were really good. were self-employed.
Right.
Now, so.
Yeah.
And I can't knock anybody for doing what I did.
Yeah.
So I had one guy, Alvaro.
Alvaro, yeah.
Alvaro's awesome, but he was moving back to Reno, so he had left, and Jim was going to go break free and go out on his own.
Right.
And he never was an employee. I just kind of helped him get going. And
Right.
He was a sub, so he's going to do his own thing, and so it was kind of back to where I was being by myself, and
Yeah.
I had Matfield came out, and we milled the bottom of a 5500 out of Marigold.
Oh, okay.
And that job was getting done, and that same mill was going to Labrador.
Oh, okay.
So they asked me to go.
Oh,
Go
that's
to
cool.
Labrador and help. So
Yeah.
So went to Labrador, which we had to do training in Quebec City,
Yeah.
which Quebec City is super cool.
Oh, I've never been.
Oh, you should go. It's really old. It's really cool, and the women there are stunning.
Oh, really?
So you go in a bar and you're going to drink and you look and it's like,
Just tens
and
everywhere.
you're just like, oh, I can't believe how beautiful this woman is.
Yeah.
And then she come over and they talk to you and they're normal people, but
Right.
it was just over and over and over again.
Yeah.
I can't believe these beautiful women there.
Yeah.
But we ended up, we went to, had a steak dinner, a cigar bar next door, so it was just scotch and cigars.
Right.
And the owner of the cigar bar, we needed a ride back to the motel, and he's trying to take us to a strip club. We're like, no. We got to get on a plane and go to Labrador. But just cool experience, cool country.
Right.
I wanted to go to Labrador for the brook trout.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I took all my fishing stuff, my fly rods, everything. So we got the first break in Labrador, and so I go to buy a fishing license, and the guy says, "You can't buy a fishing license." I'm like,
Why not?
"I can't get a fishing license
Yeah.
because I'm a foreigner."
Yeah.
He says, "No, you can't get a fishing license because fishing season is closed."
Oh, no.
I'm like,
Well, that works too, I guess. Yeah.
"You can't. Why?" And he says, "It's duck season."
What's that got to do with anything?
That's what I said.
Yeah.
And I says, "So?" He says, "So fishing season's closed." What's duck season? He said, "Did you bring a shotgun?" I said, "No, I bought fly rods." He said, "They didn't do you no good."
Yeah. Can't use them here.
So yeah, like I missed it by like 3 days.
Oh, no shit.
No.
So at the end of that, the Josh, the Matfield,
Right.
Mike Mays' son, he was talking to his dad on the phone. We're in the airport, flying out of Labrador. He's talking on the phone. He looks at me and says, "You want to go to Florida?" I'm like, "Sure."
Sure.
So from there, I'm headed to Florida to work on a drag line. So it's all new stuff.
Right.
So that was kind of cool. But
I didn't realize till I went down to buy that truck from Mike that there was like drag lines and shit in Florida. I didn't know that was even a thing.
oh yeah, a ton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was crazy because like these Climax bearings are like $2,800 a piece. Like and I went to Mike Mays' shop because I bought a service truck from him, and we get down there, and this shop just looks like a bomb exploded inside. But it's just a bomb of Climax shit. Like there's just millions of dollars of just Climax shit all around it, and he literally just has us like kicking these machining tools out of the way. He's like, "Yeah, it hasn't been ran in a long time. We'll fucking back it out." He's like, "It's not a big deal." So then Lane calls me. He's like, "Hey, call my dad really quick," and I was like, "Okay, why?" He's like, "He needs you to pick up a boring bar in Phoenix and fucking bring it to Winnemucca or bring it to Fernley." I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I'll give him a call." So I called John, and John's like, "Yeah, just this is how I know Lane's your kid, because you're like, yeah, just stop by the Komatsu dealership in Phoenix and pick this up." I was like, "Okay." So I fucking drive the service truck from where's Mike's place at? It's
It was in Safford.
Yeah, Safford. So I drive from Safford, and mind you, the AC doesn't work in this Pete. It's fucking. So I stop at an O'Reilly's, and I get a bunch of tint, and I just tint it on the side of the road because it's so fucking hot in this thing. So I'm driving back. I show up at Komatsu. You're in there, and he's like, "Yeah, it's that trailer out there." I was like, "Trailer?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's all my fucking big. What was it, 3-inch shit?"
Yeah, Mike had a bunch of stuff in Africa or something. They'd come back, so he rented a bunch of my stuff.
Yeah.
And I was trying to get it back. I'm like, wow.
So it's on
Alex
trailer.
is going there.
We don't even know if this service truck is set up to pull a trailer. Like, we don't know about trailer lights, nothing. So luckily it has. He had a hitch off of his pickup, so we put the hitch on the truck. It did have wiring for a trailer, so I hook up to this fucking trailer. It's covered in line board and shit, and it's just out in the open. And this is hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of shit on this trailer. And so John goes, "Hey, be careful where you park so this shit doesn't get stolen."
Oh,
I was
no.
like, "Cool, thanks." So I get to fucking Beatty. This thing doesn't have a sleeper on it or anything. And at the time, I didn't have money for a hotel room or anything. I just paid all this money for the service truck. So you know the candy shop in Beatty, where you can get beef jerky, candy shit.
Yeah.
There's a parking lot across. So I slept in the fucking cab of this thing for like
no.
4 hours and drive back because John's all worried this shit's gonna get stolen. And here I thought it was a line, just one bar the whole time. It brings back this whole trailer and shit all the way back. Yeah.
Okay, I owe you a beer for that one.
Yeah. He's like, "Yeah, call my dad. He's got a bar he needs you to pick up." No, it's a whole fucking trailer load of live board shit.
The service trucks are not comfortable sleeping.
No, they're not at all.
You know, I used to push myself, and early years, an 18-hour day was a short day,
Right.
and there's a lot of times I just driving home, and when we lived out Grass Valley, I'd pull in front of the house. As soon as I shut the key off,
Yeah.
I don't know how many times Marta come out,
Gotcha.
wake me up,
Yeah.
come in the house, sleep in the house. You know, I just slumped over the steering wheel. But there's one time I scared myself bad. You know, they had all the barrels, construction barrels out, and I was a mile from the exit in Winnemucca, and I went crashing through those barrels.
Oh, fuck.
And it scared me. So after that, I'm like, you know, if I get sleepy, I'm stopping.
Yeah.
You know, I've slept for 4 hours on Golconda Summit.
Right.
You know, I only got 16 miles left, but
Yeah.
I'd stop. So the one time I stopped on Austin Summit, and well, I mean, you just can't get comfortable. In
No, you
truck.
can't.
So I knew that I had a roll of paper towels behind
Right.
the seat, so I'm for them. And I get them out, and it's like this big around. So I just put on the steering wheel and I put my head on it.
Yeah. Passed out.
I was going to sleep for 30 minutes or so, and this is the middle of the night.
Yeah.
So when I woke up, I mean, it's bright. It was in the wintertime, and everything was white, snow,
Yeah.
and it's bright, and I'm like, you know, trying to see, and I'm looking, God, I slept a long time. So I look around, I release the brake, and I'm going to go. So I start driving. There's no way I can make this story up. It really happened. So I'm driving, and I'm trying to see, and then everything went white, totally white. I mean, I couldn't see. I mean, I was blind. I couldn't see anything. I'm on the brakes, and then that roll of paper towels. What happened? It was stuck here, and then it rolled down like a window shade. It was stuck to my forehead, and I thought I'd gone snowblind.
Yeah, they got snowblind. That's hilarious.
It was a scary 2 seconds.
Oh, I bet.
tell you.
Yeah. Just went snowblind.
Oh, I'd gone snowblind.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Snowblind. Did with the sleeper on the Peterbilt, did you ever sleep in there or not?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I took it to Alaska.
Yeah, you did take it to Alaska. Yeah.
And you know, thank God I had that, because I mean, it was hard to even find a place to.
Right.
But I mean, that's a long drive.
It's a long drive.
Yeah.
I know, because I had to help you load all Lane's shit on that thing.
Yeah, yeah, it was more his shit than anything.
It was.
But that pickup, that's another story. It was dead.
It was dead.
It went up there dead. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, find a place to pull over and go back, go sleep.
Yeah. And a bunch of that was dirt road, wasn't it, or was it all pavement?
The dirt. When you get in the Yukon, the dirt's a good spot.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, the pavement was.
Yeah.
You know, and I had all this stuff, and I can remember I had one box, and I had wheels on some of these boxes, and there's one that jumped. You know, the
like the rubber.
you got the bed, and then you got the little
yeah
bar for your head chain stuff.
Yeah.
That wheel jumped into that.
Oh shit.
So I mean, in the Yukon, there you got no help. So
Right.
I mean, I watched that mirror for waiting for that box to jump off. But yeah, the sleeper was.
Yeah, it was pretty cool because back in the day, like when we worked at Marigold, Lane and I worked at Marigold together, and we were on the same rotation. But Lane was he was on the weld crew for shovel, and I was on shovel crew. And you would show up, and it literally is a NASCAR trailer behind this badass fucking Peterbilt with a tiny little sleeper on it. And they would go up there, skid steer would come out, fucking Chevy pickup would come out. Like it was pretty fucking cool to see.
It worked really well.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can remember one time I didn't have any help. Marigold was in a bind,
right.
in the shovel, and so I got everything out there, and my plan was I got all bars set up, and I was going to weld everything up, climb the sleeper, sleep for a little bit,
Yeah.
and then get up and start machining. And Skeeter Lassa was.
Oh, okay.
Was Skeeter there when you were there?
Yeah, he was there.
Yeah, Skeeter kind of raised me through my mining career.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah. So when I finally got hired at Chimney Creek, remember my first day there, I see a forklift coming down the hill. Skeeter was a mechanic at the time.
Oh, okay.
And then, it's summertime. He's got his sleeves cut off, covered with big old hairy basketball arms. I thought he was a stud.
Yeah.
But so I'm on this job, and I got all planned out. And this how I'm going to get done, how I'm going to make it work.
Yeah.
I'm going to get all this welding done,
Yeah.
get all the board teching done, and then jump and sleep for a few hours, get up, start machining. And it was like 10 o'clock at night. The foreman shows up. He says, looks at me and says, Skeeter called. I'm like, oh,
Fuck.
what? he says, he told me to come up and get you or you'll stay up here all night. I says, well,
I
I'm
got a
sleep in the
sleeper.
sleeper.
Yeah.
That's better than driving home.
Right.
And he's like, Skeeter told me come up here and get you and escort you to the gate, make you go home. And that's what I had to do. But just talking about Skeeter, just prior to that, Skeeter was 63, and he had been telling me. So all these times as Skeeter, I'd be walking by his office, he'd holler at me,
Right.
and come in here, and I'd sit down and we'd talk about everything but work
Right.
for a long time. So, talk about our kids and stuff, and so this one time I went in there, I said, Skeeter, you're 63.
Yeah.
You always told me you were going to retire at 63. Why are you still here?
Yeah.
And he said, well, I got some of his investments didn't work out. He's got to go until he's 65.
Yeah.
And we started talking about Marla, my wife's grandpa.
Right.
And he was a cowboy from Paradise. Well, he had a heart attack and fell off his horse dead.
Oh, shit.
Barton Kellis.
Yeah.
And Skeeter told me, he says, that's the way I want to go. He said,
Yeah.
I don't want to be sick. I don't want to suffer. Talking about
Right.
my wife's father or grandfather, that's the way to go. That's what he wanted. Well, after that was just before Skeeter
Yeah.
told me, sent his guy up to get me out of the job. I was going to give Skeeter a hard time for it, but I didn't get the chance because, it was not a week or two after he told me that's the way he wanted to go. He was out chucker hunting,
Yep.
had a heart attack, and
Fell over.
that was it.
Yep. Yeah, that's wild.
But I always said, Skeeter was one of the last of the good ones.
Yeah.
Which early on, I worked for a lot of customers I had a lot of respect for,
Right.
and he was one of them. And there's Dan Powell was another one. He just passed.
Dan Powell too.
He
Yeah.
just passed.
Yeah.
And great guys, but they're just it's different now.
Well, and that's what I was saying, like especially with like customers of mine that are at the mines that even I used to actually work at. I don't know fucking anybody there. It's the weirdest thing. Like nobody I know that was there is there anymore.
Yeah,
It's wild how fast it happens.
well, and it's like say in this, you got some customers in construction that
Yeah.
really appreciate you being there.
Right.
It's not a bad
No.
way to go.
That's why we're mainly moving that way. As far as the line boring situation goes, has there been anything that you learned that you would want to pass on to somebody like this is something that you should know before you get into it?
Well, I helped that other guy Mike quite a bit, and
Yeah.
And he went through a lot of guys.
Yeah.
And this is the one thing that I've said, and I've learned from these guys that come and go, that you can find a guy that comes right out of a trade school.
Right.
And he's learned a trade, and he's got some skills.
Yeah.
He's growing the beard.
A better beard than me.
He's growing the beard.
Yeah.
He's got all the cool stickers on his well helmet stuff.
Yeah.
But it's really hard to find one that's tough enough.
Yeah.
And when I say that, I'm not talking about kick your ass in a bar fight tough.
Right.
I mean, could do the day after day.
Right.
You know, be out on a job with no cell service. You can't text your girlfriend
Right.
and they just can't.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard
They
doing.
just can't. They just can't handle it. You know, it's and most of them last about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You know, one story I had. I was at a job in Eureka.
Okay.
We had a major on a shovel there, and this guy Ruben, he was there on that job, and then he told me I had forgotten about it, but he told me about this. He was helping me on a job years later, and he told me, he says, was on that job, and he says, that was my first job in the field.
Right.
And he said, I was inside the boom. And he says, I come out of the boom, and I was almost crying. He said, it's hot, it's smoky, I can't see. And he said, I'm going on and crying. He says, you looked at me, he said, yeah, that's why the girls and the kids aren't out here, Ruben.
Yeah.
It's a man's job.
It's a man's
and I walked off.
Yeah.
And he said, I never forgot about that. But, yeah, it's now, you know, with the younger generation, you know, like that Mike Rowe. I think that guy's great. I'd love to meet him sometime.
Yeah.
But he does a lot for trade school stuff.
Trade school stuff,
Getting kids in trade school. But before that, I think you need they learn how to work.
Right.
Because you can learn a trade, but if like I say, you got to be able to be tough enough to do it.
Right.
So I've always had this idea. You know, you talked about the John Simmons school.
Right. Limeborn. Yeah.
Yeah, I like to do that, but a lot of the mines have had me come out, you know, and kind of try to help do some training and stuff.
Right.
And there's a lot of them that it's a waste of time.
Yeah.
So my idea is you got to teach them to work first.
Right.
So Lane was one. I was the same. That never going to go to college.
No. Me neither. I was the same way. Yeah.
You know, and high school was for me was miserable.
Yeah.
I mean, there were some fun parts about high school.
Yeah.
But there's not. You know, I would skip most everything, and I would hang out in the weld shop all the time because that's
Right.
where I want to be. So my idea is those type of kids, or even after, to teach them this trade.
Right.
First they gotta learn how to work. So you take these like military veterans,
Right.
and they take these kids and they teach them how to work,
Right.
and not be a puss,
Yeah. And that's what it takes.
you know.
Yeah.
And then once they're in the right, then you take them and teach them a trade.
Right.
But
And actually, so Lyon County is kind of so Fernley has that kind of thing right now. So right now, I just got a new kid. Well, I didn't just get him now, but I got him at the beginning of the year.
Mm-hmm.
His name's Keegan. So they take kids that they necessarily. It's not that they don't think they're going to go to college, but these kids would definitely show more interest in like working instead of going to school.
Trades.
In the trades.
Yeah.
So we get Keegan, and then we take him for the summer, and then if I like him, he can continue working for us. During the summertime, they pay for him to be there. And then once school starts, he can actually take a class that is, I'd have to look it up, but it's like work trades or something like that. And I have to sign off on it, but he gets a credit for coming to work with us. And if they can hack it, then I have to pay for him to be there, but then he gets a credit for coming to work for us. So it's actually pretty cool. And this kid does a fucking really good job. But same thing, like he doesn't want to go to, he's not trying to go to college, do all this stuff. He wants to go to work. And he does a good job. I got a girl named Star last year, and she worked through us all summer and then school year, and she killed it. But the new guy, his name's Keegan, and I had another one. I think his name was Kyle. He was fucking awful. He didn't get a job. But same thing. He was just, it's like, hey, you got to go out there. And he's like, well, it's hot. I was like, yeah, motherfucker, it's summertime. And we live in Nevada. It's hot. Like, I don't know. We're all out here.
Were you born yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I kind of learned to work from my grandpa.
Right.
When I was a kid in Battle Mountain, my grandpa had a cabinet shop.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think I was probably 11 or 12 when I started working for him. But I remember one of the first things, he paid me 50 cents an hour.
Oh, good.
and I remember one of the first things he did, he had me cut out a board,
Yeah.
the hole in it, and then hang it on the wall, and that's where I kept my time.
Oh, okay.
But he had me put lines on it. He said, put lines on there 1/4 inch apart, and that's,
Right.
you know, not a piece of paper.
Right.
Do it easier, but I did all in this little piece of 1/4 inch plywood. So he says, put a 1/4 inch lines on there, the whole thing. We get done, bring it over and show me. And I go over and show it to him. He put his tape measure on and look at it. He's like, no, do it again. Because, you know, there'll be a line off or something.
Right.
And God, so I have to go over and sand everything off and start over again. And sometimes I do. I think multiple times.
Right.
And, you know, I thought he's just being an asshole.
Right. Yeah.
But, you know, later in life, I learned out, well, Grandpa was teaching me how to use a tape measure, use a square,
Yeah.
and most importantly, do things right.
Right.
Close enough's not good enough.
Right.
You know, it had to be perfect. And I think, you know, that being instilled
Right.
at a very young age, it stuck with me. I mean,
Yeah.
it's got to be right. But
Well, on the way over here, that's what I was telling you. Like, Herbert is the same way you are with Lineborn that he is with his engines. Like, I brought my engine there. I bought parts for it and everything. And Herbert's like, we're not fucking using these. Like, I understand it's a budget build, but we're not using these. Like, this thing's not leaving my shop. Like, that's how Eric is. He's like, we're not doing that. Like, this is my shop. If it's leaving, it's gonna be right. Like,
Well,
we're not doing half-ass shit. We're not doing any of that.
that's what makes you apart from everybody else.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not the only guy on the planet that builds motors, and there's a lot of machine shops. There's not many in Reno anymore, but I was just talking to Callie Dan about it. I said, you can order up a Blueprint engine for way less than we charge you for yours, and it'll run. It might run fine. I mean, it probably will run fine.
Right.
And we're fucking expensive, and it bothers me that it costs that much to get that built.
Right.
But if you look at what all the equipment costs, and you look at what the good people cost, and
Right.
my fucking insurance bill is terrible.
Oh,
yeah.
I fucking hate it. I hate insurance. I absolutely hate insurance. But when you add it all up, like if I want to pay my car payment, I have to charge this much an hour
Right.
to make a buck.
Yeah.
To pay all these guys because they got to buy expensive gas and expensive insurance, and you could get it done somewhere else. I really appreciate your business
Right.
but we're gonna do it a different way.
Right.
We're not using that. I'm gonna use a stock intake manifold. We're gonna reuse old oil pan. I'm like, no,
You know, I
we're
had
not doing it that way.
I had a lot of that with customers too. You know, when I was still trying, and you know, I would have they come to me with the job, and I said, yeah, it's going to be this much, and they knew that I was going to do it right, so they wanted me to do it. But the finance people says he's over double what everybody else is, and they try to explain to finance people there's a reason for that,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
and but it just got to where, you know, like you're saying, the people that you knew, then they're gone, and
Right.
then next guy comes in, and it's just, I don't want to get into the negative stuff, but
Right.
it got tough.
Right. Especially with like the bean counters, that's their only job is, hey, this guy will do the job for X amount of dollars, and you want this guy to do it, and he's fucking $70,000 more to do the same job. Well, you're going to be doing it again in a year, or you could be doing it again never, is the
Right.
thing.
Well, and what happened is when they came in and they got competitive, and these guys are working for cheap,
Right.
and the standards went down.
Well, they
Right,
absolutely
so-
did, yeah.
So
If you do a good job, your work will sell itself.
Yep.
And the guys, there were machine shops that came into Reno a couple years ago. Rich Dick, I'm going to start a machine shop. I'm going to put all the other machine shops out of business. And
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, come on down.
Yeah.
And he was doing shit for like half price. Cool. They made it like 14 months.
Yeah.
It used to be where I would say it's good to let competitors go out there and make a mess once in a while, you know,
Yeah.
and then they appreciate you more. But it's now it's just it doesn't seem to matter. It's just
Right.
if it's cheaper, that's the way they want to go. But
Yeah. Well, and that's the nice thing about good customers is like there are a bunch of guys rolling around Reno in fucking pickups or like shitty old service trucks and they're charging $95 an hour. They fuck themselves more times than I can count, and that's why we're still here. Like the customers that leave for those people aren't customers you want anyways.
yeah,
All my good customers, they fucking whatever we charge, fine. Just make sure that it works.
If a customer calls me for a small block on a budget,
Yeah,
I tell them go get a blueprint engine from Summit.
might as well, honestly.
I mean, it probably will work fine. It'll satisfy your needs.
Right.
It has a little bit of a warranty.
Right.
I want to sell you a GM crate motor. It's a little bit more.
Right.
I'd love to build you something for you,
Right.
but if that's out of your budget, we'll just start there. I'm not going to try to accommodate.
No.
And, you know, people are like, why is it so expensive? I'm like, we're the only machine shop in town. Why do you think that is?
Yeah. And like even when I bring shit to you, even though you hate it, we never have anything come back, you know what I mean? It fucking always works.
I mean, that's my goal is,
Yeah.
you know.
Granted, I mean, obviously fuck ups will happen.
Yeah, we make mistakes. We
Yeah.
are human.
Yeah.
But we fucking try harder than everybody else.
Yeah.
We'll stay later, get a better part, get a better tool, get a
Right.
better, like, call an expert. Like, what do we do here?
And
I fucking hate diesels.
I brought him this Isuzu head. What was it, like fucking a month ago? I brought you this. You're like, what the fuck is this thing off of? It's actually a Hitachi excavator. You're like, what do you want me to do with this? I was like, it's gotta be flat. I don't know.
No, the injector cup. That
Oh,
was
that's what it was. It
that
was the
was
injector
the fucked
cups.
up part. Was
Yeah.
like it was half a cup.
Yeah, that's what it was.
It was
yeah.
like it was like an injector teaspoon. Like whatever this is, it's broken. I don't know where you get it. I need another one.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm glad it runs. I'm glad we fixed it.
Yeah, it's back running. It's going good. That fucking
fucking
horse.
horse.
It doesn't make any noise until we start trying to do this, and it fucking whinnies the whole time.
I think the rooster got shot or eaten
Free
by
sound
coyotes.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
'Cause
I haven't heard the rooster in a while.
Hey, you know what? Would you pass me that Woodford's Reserve? This doesn't taste as good today.
What is that one?
Yeah, it's not my favorite.
That's a high-end Maker's.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't. Thank you. It doesn't taste as good.
Yeah.
Do you want a refresher? It's okay. We're pouring cocktails for everyone just listening.
Yeah,
and
just
not
for the
watching.
audio
Just
listeners.
for the audio listeners.
Yeah.
This is also a drinking show.
Yes.
It happens. Like, we got to have a cocktail, got to have some ice, got to have some bourbon.
So, John, on the machining side of things, what are some of the tolerances that you have to hold for those big pins and stuff like that? I mean, is that mainly what you're doing? Is just line boring?
well, one story on that. We were doing a crusher at out of Florida Canyon, and it was I think a 30 plus inch bore, and it had a tolerance.
30.
Yeah.
Jeez.
30,
Inch.
30
That's what
some
I'm telling you.
inches.
This guy's the fucking line board guy.
So it was like 30 some inch bore, and it had a tolerance of like 1.5 thousandths.
Oh, fuck.
Jesus.
So do you measure the temperature with a temp gun to make sure that we're measuring at the same temperature every time?
And it had the cap was ductile cast iron.
Oh, no.
I'm like, Jesus. I mean, the sun's going to come up, and that's going to change.
It's going to change like an eighth of an inch.
So we were talking on the way out there, and like, I don't know what to say. I grabbed my phone up, I get Siri. I says, what's the thermal coefficient for the linear expansion of ductile cast iron? Boom. She knew all about it.
She knew all that.
Yeah, so you know, there's a lot of times it's plus minus a thou, you know, but
Well, and
that,
you guys,
that's on a board that's big, right?
and also it's not
gotta
that
be
you're
on.
just making circles either. Like the machining stuff you do, whether it's like strut frames or circles on shovels, like a circle on what's a 5500? That's got to be 12 feet or something around it.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah, so you're trying to.
What?
So like your bearing that mounts like just a really big excavator. Basically, well, it's a shovel, so it pulls back to itself or lifts up instead of pulls back.
Okay.
Excavator pulls towards you, shovel pushes out.
Right.
But that's probably 12 or 15 feet, the center of it,
Machining
and
that?
you're machining that whole center so that it can accept a new bearing without having any play.
And those drag lines,
Oh, I can't imagine. I've never
drag
even seen a
lines,
drag
oh.
line.
57 feet.
Yeah, 57 feet.
Around?
Yeah. And the hard part is, like, a lot of the tooling that you guys come up with isn't, like, you and Mike, like, it's not, you can't just go buy this tooling. Like, it's something that you guys do.
No, you're building a machine to machine the hole.
Yes.
Yeah, Mike created a lot of.
Mike's a fucking innovator for sure.
Yeah.
When the funny part is, so this dude I've never met before in my life, super nice guy. I text him when I get out of the airport because Safford's 2 hours from Phoenix?
Oh, 3, yeah.
3, yeah. So this guy says, oh yeah, well, I got in touch with him because of John. So that's when I bought my tandem. That's where it came from, was Mike Mays. And he goes, yeah, I'll pick you up at the airport. I said, all right. So I texted him. I said, okay, I landed. He said, yeah, I've been waiting here for an hour. I was like, all right, well, I'm here now. So I hop in this pickup. We drive fucking 58 goddamn miles an hour all the way to Safford, Arizona. And I'm thinking, I got to drive all the way back to fucking Reno tonight. It's happening. And so he's talking to me about it. He's telling me all about the machining stuff. And at the time, we didn't really machine. I still don't machine. I have Lane and I have a guy named Nate that machines for me. I have machined. It doesn't turn out well. Like, it's not my thing. It's not what I do. I've tried it. I'm not good at it. I have people that machine for me for a reason because they're good at it. So I get there and there's just all this machine. I buy the tooling, so I know how much it costs for these guys. And like I said, we're just kicking around. And this guy's telling, he has Connexes full of machine tooling that he sends to other countries. Like, they go to other countries and machine and stuff, and this is all he does. And on the way, when we were talking like pricing and stuff, and he was telling me, he's like, yeah, if we don't have X amount, coming in, like, I get really worried. I was like, and the best part is he's telling me, so they buy this house with a lake on it, and he can't decide which boat he wants. And this boat costs X amount of dollars. This boat costs X amount of dollars. This is more than the truck I'm buying from him to make money. And I'm just like, I don't know. We're on two different playing fields. You know what I mean? Like, this guy, but that once you get to that point, who else is doing it? You know what I mean? It's like even Mike with lifting shovels up for fucking, because when you take a shovel apart, the whole, structure of the shovel, the superstructure has to come off the bottom and the tracks will come out. Well, Mike has lifted, like, he literally lifts an entire what is a shovel? A 5500, that includes boom and everything, but like a 5500 is 550 metric ton. So it's a huge fucking piece of equipment, and they're literally lifting it up, moving the track frame out from underneath it, and they're going to machine the bottom of it. Like, it's a totally different game. We machine construction equipment and mining equipment, but not to the level that these guys do. Like, it's a whole fucking other ballpark.
Do you have a logbook, like, on this day, like, the ambient temperature was this, we used this rod? You're not doing are you doing submerge arc?
No.
No. Stick? What's your filler?
Just on automated welders, it's just hardwire.
Hardwire.
Oh, hardwire.
Yeah.
35 hardwire.
So it's just like a big MIG welder.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, so but you got to document, like, we measured it, this temperature was this size. We measured it, this temperature is this size. The surface speed for the cutter is this. And eventually you have a catalog of, we fixed this 4-foot hole. We had to use this tool, this carbide, this, no?
No, these motherfuckers just go for it.
My documentation skills have never been good. and when I had 13 guys, I remember my dad called me one time and I was just struggling. And my dad told me, he says, you're trying to run big business now in your head. Mm-hmm. He says, yeah, write some shit down. But it's
Experience.
it's
Self-taught. You can tell what carbide to use on that hole, what surface speed to run it at.
Yeah.
And it might work 90%
a lot
of
of
the
it
time.
is you go on and that didn't work. You pull it out, try something different.
Oh, shit. I can't imagine that. That's a big deal.
Yeah. Well, and even on our small stuff, like we don't do the big stuff that John does. He has a whole other set of line boring tools than what we have. We do electric drive. He has hydraulic drive. They do bigger bars. You get less chatter. You get all kinds of other options with bigger equipment. But the amount of money that gets put into that big equipment is on an unreal scale. Like, yeah. I probably have $200,000 worth of line boring equipment, and it doesn't remotely come close to doing anything big.
He has that in the back of his truck.
Yeah, legitimately. Like, that's the thing. Like, it's just a whole other scale of what they're doing.
Have they ever tried finish grinding with like a diamond or like instead of just boring it with this single point cutter, right?
Yeah, it's a single point cutter. Yeah.
Have they ever tried like to finish to get the size, grinding it with diamonds?
That's it.
Oh, well,
are you talking about almost like honing it, basically?
yeah.
Well, kind of, yeah.
You know, early in my career, I saw one guy that he'd use that hone all the time, and so he would cut it, go intentionally undersized, and then he'd start honing. Great big drill motor over there and for hours.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, why didn't you just cut it to size? You know?
That's my only complaint. I love Alvaro, and he's literally a fucking, he's amazing. Like, that dude, I hate putting shit together that Alvaro does, especially like on those Komatsu haul trucks where they have like the 7-pack right there. And he makes it so fucking tight. You just have to fucking beat those cocksuckers in.
Well, and that's the thing you learn.
Yeah.
In time, you know. It's just, and you know, somebody's going to come behind you and put this together.
Yeah.
And they're not going to hesitate to point finger at the machinist.
Which I've never had Alvaro line bore something that wasn't perfect. Like, that dude, he's a fucking stud. He's great. But it does piss me off that he makes it. Sometimes you'll get a guy that'll overbore it just a little bit and it fucking slides in nice. Alvaro's not that guy. Like, if this is the tolerance it wants, Alvaro has it right fucking there. But when you're putting shit together and it's got like 7 different pins, you're like, and we're doing it on dirt, you know what I mean? Like, so
nothing's level.
No, he machines the whole thing perfect. Like, it's perfect. And then you try to put it together on dirt, you're not on a flat concrete pad. Like, you're trying to pin 7 pins all in a row, and they're all exactly perfect. It's a fucking nightmare to pin.
Did you ever hear the story of Alvaro's first job he was working for?
No, but I want to now.
So that big trailer I had, I had the big side doors on it.
Yep.
So we're working on that crusher at Florida Canyon.
Yeah.
And Alvaro's, he's a
little fella.
He's a little guy.
Yeah.
And so he was going to get one of them lamina pumps. Have you seen them?
Yeah.
There's a big hydraulic. I mean, they're big. They're heavy.
They're heavy.
So the trailer was on a little bit of angle. So he kicked the brake off, and that thing headed for the door. This is his first day working for me, and he would not let go of it.
Oh, fuck.
But he couldn't stop it, but he didn't let go of it. So when that thing went out the trailer, it went like that, and it just launched Alvaro.
Oh, fuck.
I mean, he didn't even slow it down, but it flung him like it shot him out of a slingshot. And the pump lands on the ground, and he comes over, and he's all sorry.
Yeah.
He's all sorry. I'm like, are you okay?
Yeah, you're okay.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
He said, I fix it. and he did. I can't even tell which pump got tossed out of the trailer now, but I told him, I says, Alvaro, just let that shit go. You're not big enough to stop it.
Yeah.
Just let it go.
Well, it's funny because I get to see him all the time. Like, we do a lot of work together, and then his wife works at Cashman, so I see her every morning. I'm there all the time, and it's cool because he literally is the most humble dude ever, and you can ask him any question. I'll call him all the time. Hey, dude, do you have time to do this? Because his brother Daniel, he does it too.
Oh, yeah. Daniel worked with me a lot, too. I like Daniel.
Daniel's a fucking good cat, and he's got a big mill. So anything that we need to get done on a mill that you can't put a bar in, Daniel's the guy that does it, and he's the same way. Like, there's no half-assing anything. He's like, nope, this has to be redone. I'm like, okay, man, fucking just send me a bill, I guess.
Well, another good Alvaro story. You know, he lost an end of a finger.
Yeah.
A grinder.
Oh, I didn't know it was from a grinder. I just
I think it was one of those rocks and it blew up.
Oh, yeah.
And they ended up taking his finger off. But this was after that, and he was at my shop.
Yeah.
I'd subbed him to come help me on this job. So at the end of the day, trying to put a hitch in a fifth wheel trailer
right.
for Lane.
Oh yeah, that one that had the fucked up one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so we're putting a hitch on the rear. So we're trying to slide a piece of plate in there.
Yeah.
And it was thin plate, and Arrow's up there trying to get it in, and Ruben just shoves it, and I look, and there's Arrow's hands up there, and it's thunk. I'm like, oh my god! And Alvaro's like, it's all right. He pulls his hand and goes, it was my short finger. No, it was my short finger.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I got a bug.
You got to. You got him.
So, politics. I was just talking to Callie Dan today,
Oh boy.
and he's on my side. He's with me on a defund the government movement.
I am too. Yeah, that's why I have all
Like-
politicians are cunt shirt that I wear all the time.
Like, let's defund the government, put them out of business, stop paying taxes. If enough people do it,
Yeah.
they'll go, oh shit. Because Kamala's for the middle class,
Right,
But she
okay.
wants to help everybody buy a house and go to college and buy a car and buy a EV, and it's like, but and Trump is Trump. I can't say I love the guy,
Right.
but he's not fast enough on his feet to
Right.
go. How are you going to pay for that?
Right.
You love the middle class. How are you going to pay for that?
Right.
And I realized I switched gears.
Yeah.
How's your political views at this time
You
in the season?
you just assumed I was on the right.
yeah.
I think it's
You assumed he was a male.
Well,
it was a safe assumption.
I just recently came up with this, and you know, not everybody's going to agree with me, but I think I got it figured out. So the country's divided,
Yeah.
right? So on the right over here, you got the working guys and the
Taxpayers.
450
Yeah.
diesel,
Yeah. Us. Yeah. And
fossil fuel burning son
Yeah.
of a bitch right there, and then over here you have the
350 of
Then, yeah.
the Green New Deal.
Mm-hmm.
And all this, and this is what they want. So, if you're voting on the right, you're voting on the left. The country's divided.
Mhm.
That's
Right.
what it is.
It is.
So, if you're over here and you want you want the Green New Deal, you want all this, and that's where you're voting. That's fine. So, if you have a vehicle that burns fossil fuels, you turn it in and get your electronic vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
And all of your power that you use needs to come from the windmills and the solar farms. And it's a practice what you preach still.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So we will continue on our side, but all these people go to the green side. It's going to get better, and eventually
Yeah. Which one's doing better at the end?
balance out.
It'll take about 15 minutes to figure out what side you want to be on.
Yeah.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. So you want to be totally green?
That's the problem
Live it.
with
Yeah,
with
have at it.
Media, the news, social media, like all electric by 2035. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Where's the electricity going to come from?
Well, did you see that
And where's all the wait, everything's made out of oil.
Yeah. Everything.
Go ahead, sorry.
Well, did you see all the lithium that's because I'm banking on the lithium thing. I hope it happens because it's gonna be great for us. Big lithium mines, awesome for us. But everybody's switching to hydrogen now.
Yeah, I've
Ford
seen some-
switched to hydrogen. Chevy switched to hydrogen. They pulled all their money out of the fucking lithium mine outside of Winnemucca. It's done. Like there's
Yeah.
nothing happening out there. Everybody's going hydrogen.
I heard Chevy, the two big manufacturers shut down their EV program. Who was that?
I think Toyota is also moving towards hydrogen.
Toyota went hydrogen.
Yeah, I think
Do you see
I
that
think Toyota
engine they
already-
made though? How much power it makes?
I think Toyota already did it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
fucking
it's insane.
wild, dude.
Yeah.
But I think, two U.S. big auto manufacturers shut down their EV program because they realized they can't make any money at it.
Yeah, they're going broke.
Yeah, they're like, we can't keep putting money in this deal. We're not making any money. I like your theory. You want an electric vehicle? Cool. Go figure out how to charge it up.
Yeah.
Skeeter, we were talking about Skeeter earlier, and he told me at one time he had to go to a school
Right.
classroom full of kids, and he challenged the kids. He says, name me one product, one thing that has nothing to do with mining. And there's nothing.
No.
Everything begins with mining. So all this anti-mining thing,
Well,
there really isn't anything that because if there's a machine that builds this thing that you have, and it's made out of
Iron ore
steel,
gets mined.
it's iron, come from an iron ore.
Your fucking phone has gold, silver, all kinds of shit in it. Lithium.
I think the environmental, it's not all bad.
No.
And I think a lot of things start out good, like environmental did, because the placer mining back in the day, they did a lot of damage.
Yeah.
And so the environmental started out as a good thing, and then it got extreme.
Right.
And then I look at like the MSHA, the Mine Safety and Health. It's not so much about safety anymore. It's about citations.
That's exactly what it's about.
And one example, I was on a shovel job at Phoenix, at the Phoenix mine.
Yeah.
And so all the bosses and the safety people showed up, and I'm there, and I'm a vendor, so I'm a target.
Right.
And they're just hassling me, all about this documentation. You have this documentation for this and that. And one problem was my walk around inspection for my service truck. Did I have anything for the crane?
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, you're right. It's my crane. I use it every day. But yeah, you're right. I need to have some type of crane inspection. You're right. And they're on and on and on about this, and for like an hour, just trying to find something to get me there hassling. So finally they let me go, and I go back up on top of the shovel, and I look, and they're gathered around in a little circle, and I look over, and there's two kids with a solvent gun spraying, cleaning a final drive.
Right.
And 6 feet away from them, there's a guy welding.
Right.
on a bucket.
Yeah.
So here's all this vaporized
Solvent,
flammable, going for where this guy's welding. I'm like, holy Christ, surely these guys, all these safety people are going to see that and stop them. And it's loud, and I'm up there hollering. I can't, They walk off, so I got to climb down off the shovel and those kids to stop. But that's my point is they get so focused on having the bright green vest and the wheel chocks and on and on and on, the stuff that they can't see the stuff that's going to hurt somebody.
Right.
Right.
we're not governing. I mean, and I'm not governing, but the government is not governing in a logical way anymore.
right.
It's not logical.
No.
Well, it's kind of gotten to where
They've
big
made it self-serving.
yeah. Well, a lot of these corporations try to do the thinking for everybody.
Right.
Right. And you kind of got to get where these guys got to think for themselves a little bit.
Well, even back to the insurance thing, like there's a few, like one of the largest mine site operators in Nevada, they want you to have $10 million of liability insurance now.
Oh fuck!
So I have 5, and they want to continue my contract with them. I needed 10.
What is $10 million worth of insurance cost?
I don't know. I didn't even ask. My $5 million is $230,000 a year.
Fuck.
Yeah. So I told them, I was like, hey man, we don't do a ton of work with you. If I had 20 guys out there every day for a year, I might be interested in it. But for you to call us out to fix on stuff, I'm not interested. Like I just won't do it. And they're like, well, this is what we're requiring now. Blah blah blah. There's nothing on site that I could be working on and fuck it up. That's going to cost $10 million. There's not one fucking thing.
The problem is, they cut out the little guy. The big guy doesn't pay his guy shit. And then, who's making money at the end of the day?
Well,
the insurance company.
That's what it is, the insurance company. Because I've never had a claim or anything, and my insurance rate goes up every year.
Mine too.
Yeah.
Like, I think 7 years, no claim.
Yeah, I have 8 years, no claim with the same insurance company. It goes up every year.
I don't want to compare dicks. I have a small shop. We do under $1 million a year. My insurance is $2,700 a month.
A month.
And I'm like, I could buy a fucking house for less than that.
Yeah.
And I have nothing to show for it.
Right.
Well, you're insured. Cool.
Yeah. Cool. And then we have
That's
like
a fucking waste.
we have crazy shit like so our liability insurance doesn't cover anything at our shop. That's just for us to be in the field. Yeah, then we have to have a garage
shit.
keepers policy.
Oh,
so we have that on top of it. And then if you have more than $100,000 worth of stuff at the shop, then you got to have a bigger garage keepers policy. Like it's never ending, and there's no money to be made at the end of it. I mean, there's money there, but it all gets either taken from taxes or insurance.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's hard to make a buck these days. If you
Yeah.
want to be legit,
That's the thing, and you have when you work with these big companies, you have to be. There's no option.
Yeah.
It's either you
Yeah.
send us all your information or you can't work here.
yeah, no, it's not good. We got to.
And then this is all before you pay taxes.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no, oh my god.
Yeah,
I was telling Callie Dan. I'm like, so you make a buck. 60. We had a tea party, like the 1700s, because we didn't want to give the queen a cut,
right.
because we thought we were getting overtaxed. It wasn't shit. Now it's 60%.
Yeah, by the time you pay for everything, it's like 60%.
If you make a buck, like 60% of your money paid taxes, because after you paid income tax, then you paid sales tax, and I buy a machine, and it's $30,000, and then I pay $3,000 in sales tax to buy the machine, and then I have to report it to the county assessor that I have a $30,000 machine. And as long as I own that machine, they're going to charge me tax on the fucking machine because I'm making money with it.
They want to know about your desk chairs and desks and laptops and everything.
What is your shop inventory?
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I always just wait till they
paid
assess
tax.
me, and then I pay what they assess me because it's always way lower than
Do you know Walt Curtis?
Uh-huh.
And so Walt Curtis, he's in his mid 80s now, but I remember when I first started my business, he told me, he says, now that you're in business, he says, you'll find out everybody's going to try to get in your pockets.
Yep. It is, too.
And he told me one time, he says, I made my millions back in the 70s. He says, I feel sorry for you guys trying to do it now.
Yeah. Oh man, it's terrible. We'd make more money if we moved back to the UK.
Yeah.
We'd make more money.
It's wild. I was just in the UK.
There, you pay tax once.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
They what?
You pay tax once. They take it out of your paycheck, and there's no tax on anything else. It comes with health care, comes with retirement, comes with paid maternity leave, comes with vacation. And I'm not an advocate for that, but they take it out of your check, and you're set for life. Health care, retirement, insurance, blah, blah, blah.
The dental's not great there, apparently.
I don't think they have dental. Yeah. I don't think they don't have that program there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, and I that's socialism. Like
Right.
I'm not for that mentality. But what they take off the top, no one has to worry about anything, is way cheaper than what we have here, and
Right.
we have to still worry about everything.
Right.
I can't retire on Social Security.
No.
I can remember this is back right about 2003. I've been in business about 3 years. And, in 2001, I tried to race Lane around a Calder's motocross track
Yeah.
and broke my wrist. And that cost me a bunch of money, so I kind of had to recover from that. But in 2003, I'd come to the point where I made it.
Yeah.
I got some money, business goods, I made it. And then April 15th came along,
Yep.
and I had to write a check for like $138,000.
Yeah.
And I had it. It was
Right.
in a checking account, but it cleaned me out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like 3 years of hard work, and now I'm broke again because I had to give it all to the government.
Yep.
And my point, at that point, I was like, I give up. I quit.
Yeah.
I quit.
It just doesn't. I'd pay taxes if I got something for it.
Right.
But right now, illegals get it.
Yeah.
How the fuck does that work? I pay taxes, they get free shit.
Right.
They don't have a taxpayer ID.
And
not-
they're eating the cats and the dogs.
They're not protected under the Constitution.
Right.
It was funny because they're like, that's been myth busted. No one ate a cat. And then, like, the next day, there's this video from Cops Online Patrol arresting this migrant chick for eating the neighbor's fucking cat. And I'm like, well, I don't know if that was a rumor. I think it might have been true.
Did you see the one where the dude's just fucking lopping ducks' heads off?
No.
Yeah, he's catching these ducks at this pond. He's just fucking
Oh, shit.
smoking these motherfuckers. But it's dinner, dude. It's
Ah.
free. Yeah. I'm not a big fan of duck, but. Well, before we get out of here, is there anything that you would tell somebody that is trying to get into the machining trade?
Not so much of machining, but, I've told a lot of young guys coming in, I says, there are two things. If you have a little desire and ambition,
Right.
And you want to work, you're way ahead of the game now.
Right.
Because, a lot of them now, they just don't want to work.
Yeah.
So that goes back to that work ethic thing,
Yeah.
You got to learn how to work.
Yeah.
If you could learn how to work, if I was going to take somebody right now, I would much rather have the young kid that wants to work
Right.
than the veteran machinist that already knows everything.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So and going back to my grandpa, that's where it came from. I can remember I was probably 12 or 13. He had a house remodel, and we were carrying drywall, 12-foot sheets in there. And I'm a kid, and
They're fucking heavy.
so and it's me and another guy, a grown man, we're carrying sheets in there. So we're ripping just carrying them in one at a time. My grandpa comes by, and he's pissed. What are you doing carrying them in one at a time? And the other guy says, well, he's a little kid, he can't carry two. And he looks at me and says, you can't do a man's job, go home.
Oh, fuck.
That was my grandpa.
Yeah.
But that was, he was, we'd be working in the shop, man, I'd yawn.
Yeah.
He said, what, are you tired? You need to go home? But that's where
Yeah.
it started.
Yeah.
But that's what
It's
what's missing now.
Yeah.
It's hard to teach.
I don't think you can teach it.
I don't know if you can teach it.
I don't think you can. With all the employees I've had in and out, like we have a good crew right now. I have a pretty low turnover rate, and you can't teach it. I think it's instilled.
You might have an idea of it, or you don't.
You do. Yeah, exactly.
And that's the desire and the
Right.
ambition. Nobody has to teach. You just got to want it.
You got to want it. Yeah.
And you got that. You get the ambition and the desire, and then go to your
Right.
trade school or whatever,
Right.
or on the job or whatever, and you learn the trade.
Yep.
Just the desire is a hard thing
To get.
Yeah, you can't teach it.
Right. And unfortunately, in our society, 40 hours a week isn't going to get you anywhere. I just got back from Europe. Nobody works more than 40 hours. Most people work fucking 30 hours a week. But here, it's not an option. It sucks. I get it. But I fucking work 80 hours a week.
Over there, it's socialist.
That's what it is, yeah.
It's that deal where, now there's some good and bad. That before, like middle school, before you start high school, they divert traffic. They go, well, this high school is college prep. We'll send you there,
Right.
and you can be a doctor. Or you're in the trades. They call it Baumschule, and it's tree school. They send you this way. In your high
Right.
school, you're going to start learning trades in high school,
Right.
and we're going to give you a job in that. The downside is there's no reward for excelling.
No.
Because the guy that trims the trees for the county makes the same as the doctor in the ER.
Right.
And so that's why they want to move here.
Right.
But some of the concept I agree with. In middle school, freshman year, you can assess somebody. You're not going to be a football player. You're not going to play in the NFL. And you're not an engineer. Have you tried welding?
You're right.
Let's get you introduced now.
And honestly, most
Because you
people
might love it.
most people know by then whether they're going to go to college or not. Literally, the first day I met Lane, I knew instantly. I was like, "We're gonna be buddies," because Lane was already getting bitched out in the principal's office, and I got brought to the principal's office, and I was like, "We're buds. Like we're gonna fuck shit up. Like we're not going to college. We're gonna make a mess of this."
If we got time, I got to tell another.
Oh yeah,
story.
do it.
Oh, yeah.
So like I said, when he was little, I was traveling, gone all the time. So I've gone down working around Mountain, and Marta calls and says, "You got to talk to your son." I said, "Well, what do you do now?" So we got in a fight in school. Well, that's normal.
Yeah.
So I got home. I talked to Lane. I said, "Lane, what happened?" And he says, "Well, he was playing with something, and this kid, Skyler." So if a kid's named Skyler, he's shit at it. Right? So he wanted whatever Lane had.
Yeah.
This is first grade.
Yeah.
So Lane wouldn't give it to him, and he cheap shot him in the back of the head with the playground ball, and Lane got up and clocked him. I'm like, well, sometimes you got to do what you got to do, but don't ever throw the first punch. I tried to, give him the little talk and stuff.
Yeah.
But I was like, you can't. Some stuff you can't let slide.
Yeah.
But and then it was a few weeks later. Marta calls me, says, "You got to talk to." He says, "Your son got another fight in school." I go, "Yeah." He says, "Yeah, this time you're in trouble." So, I guess what happened was these two boys were playing keep away from Lane.
Yeah.
And he's getting mad.
Yeah.
And you know what kind of temper he had when he was young. So a first grader, it was insane. So these kids are playing keep away. So this one kid gets the ball. They're throwing it back for keep away. So this kid puts it behind his back so Lane can't get it.
Yeah.
So Lane just smokes him in the mouth. Well, he's got his hands behind his back. So that kid goes down. The other kid grabs the ball and takes it around. And Lane catches him, and he's hitting on this kid, and the teachers catch him and take him to the principal's office. And it comes down to it. He's in a first grader. He's in with the principal, and he says, "Well, my dad says it's okay if I hit people."
Oh, fuck.
So I had to go in and get a lecture.
Yeah. We were at Bar M one night, and so we put a bunch of money in the jukebox, and then these other cats come in, and they put a bunch of like Spanish music on. And Scooter's fucked up, I'm fucked up, Braun's fucked up, Lane's fucked up. So we've been there for a long time. And so Scooter walks over to the jukebox, rips the cord out of the wall, and just yells, "America." Well, it just starts this all out brawl. We're just fucking getting after it. All of us are just getting the shit beat out of us because there's 4 of us and there's fucking 50 other people in there. So we're just getting the fuck beat out of us. So I finally, I get up. And I was like, "You guys got to stop." I was like, "I'll buy everybody a fucking drink in here. You guys got to stop." And so they stop. I buy everybody a fucking round of drink. All of us we got the fuck beat out of us. And so we're all just sitting there. Well, the whole time, Braun was in the shitter. He was fucking taking the juice to the shitter.
Didn't he run to the shitter before the fight started or during?
Yeah, no, he's taking shit before it started. So Braun comes out, and he's got nothing to do with this whole thing. The guy has no idea any of this happened. He sits down at the bar, and the girl looks at him, and she goes, "I'm not going to serve you." And it's Braun, Scooter, me, and Lane. And he goes, "What'd I do?" And Braun. And she goes, "You unplugged the jukebox." He said, "I didn't do nothing." And Scooter goes, "No, I unplugged the jukebox." And the girl looks at him and she goes, "No, you unplugged the jukebox. I watched you." And Braun goes, "No, that was my fucking dipshit cousin that unplugged the jukebox." And she goes, "No, it was you." And he goes, "Listen, cunt." He goes, "I don't give a fuck about any of these guys in here." And so it started a whole nother brawl. So we just start getting the shit beat out of us again. So Braun can't get hit because half his fucking face is metal. He's got a whole plate in his head that's metal.
So you got to wear a football helmet to the bar.
Pretty much. So Scooter and I get Braun out of there. We get about 2 blocks down, and we realize we don't got Lane. So we're thinking, fuck. So we get back there. We go back to the bar. We leave Braun. Scooter and I go back to the bar. And fucking Lane's in the corner just getting fed left and right. Just getting the fuck beat out of him.
Oh, no.
So we grab Lane. Lane's still talking shit. Well, this other random guy walks in, has nothing to do with any of this. Lane decides this is the motherfucker. And this dude's like 6 inches taller than me. Like, this guy's fucking huge. And he tells us, he's like, "Hey, I don't know what's going on. I don't know anything about this." And Lane goes, "The fuck you don't." And he just starts getting after him. So Scooter's got one arm of Lane's. I got his other arm. We're walking forward. Lane's facing backwards. His little feet are just a kick and just talking shit the whole time. But that's definitely Lane for sure. And we pulled him out of there. Cop showed up, but we were gone by then, so it was good. But that's definitely Lane. Lane won't give up. He'll go to the end.
Hey, for skinny dude, he's
scrappy. I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty funny when there was one time we're in Lake Tahoe at the house, and Marla was driving, and we're heading to the truck. So it was the whole family, Marla, Lane, and I. That's all of us.
Right.
So we're heading to the truck, and Lane, he's like, "Shotgun." I'm like, "Oh bullshit, you're right in the back." And Lane, he's like 15 at the time. He says, "Well, I'll wrestle you for it." And he never wrestled, so he don't know nothing about it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right. So we go, And, I outweigh him by 100 pounds.
Yeah.
So we go out in the grass, best of 3 takedowns.
Yeah.
And there was, he's dancing around, that grab him, throw him down, 3 times and said, let him get in the back truck. But, later on, I arm wrestled him.
Yeah.
And I was a good arm wrestler my day, but I was surprised.
Yeah.
At his.
Yeah. No, he's a strong little fucker.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, we're going to call it.
We got to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Send in your questions. Go to the website, Kara. Set up an appointment, Kara.
Get your T checked.
Get your T checked. Ageless Men. This episode sponsored by Renowned Health, Herbert Performance Company, DVM Equipment Repair, Miles Brothers Motorsports, Send Cut Send. Thanks. Have a nice night.